And I'm just going to try this. Can everyone still hear me? Yes. Good, because I do not like to use microphones because I personally don't think I need one. So good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Bentley. I'm the Superintendent Director here at Diman, and I am so happy to see this many people on a Wednesday night here hearing about Diman, hearing about their sons and daughters, or whoever you have coming here. And I just think that this is going to be an interactive night. The purpose of tonight is not for us to tell you lots of stuff. We will. But the purpose of tonight is to get across a basic understanding of what your son, your daughter, whoever you have coming here, has come into us just last week. They have completed, right now, a grand total of 4 days of school. They have survived. Maybe. But our intention tonight is to do a face-to-face. Who we are, you might hear from us, or, more importantly, is to answer those questions that you probably ask every single day. How did school go today? Fine. What did you do in school today? Nothing. As I said, great, 180 days of nothing. But it's our intention tonight to go over an overview of Diman. What is this exploratory? What are some of the rules? And just have a great understanding. It's also a night for you to ask questions, whether it's from the audience to ask us so we can answer to everybody, or afterwards that we will be separated up front and you can approach us and say, I have a question for you. And that is great, because that's what we want to hear. Tonight, I'm very lucky to have with me my administrative staff who is with me. You will hear from them as they introduce themselves to you and their role here at Diman. And I'm also very happy to have with us here tonight a member of our Diman School Committee who also has a relative here in the school. So he's on double duty tonight, and that is Mr. Donald DiBiasio, who's right here over here, representing the town of Somerset. Don, you're good. So, you had, coming in tonight, you had quite a few packets of information. Most of the slides tonight are in your packet of information. It's there. And it's not meant to say, well, why are we getting it both ways? Because I know what happens. You're here, you start thinking about other things, tomorrow's grocery list, what's going on, but then you come back to, what was that about, whatever the topic was. And we're going to answer that too. So, tonight, we will introduce ourselves one by one as we present certain aspects of Diman. We're also going to go over the shop and the shop exploratory. We're going to go over academics and the rotating cycle, which is new for, I think, just about everybody here. We're going to go over just general information, and then we're going to talk about expectations. I'll start with that one, but Mr. Zajac, our assistant principal of student affairs, will dive a little deeper into it. But the other day when I addressed the freshmen, as well as other students, and we have our seniors tomorrow. You know, funny part about seniors, they're so different from the freshmen. The freshmen are in an assembly and it's like they're hinging on every word. The seniors, we have to remind them they haven't graduated yet. We still get about another 9 months, so hold on. But the expectations that we told them were actually very simple. And you'll hear that tonight. And they're very doable. So I am Brian Bentley, the Superintendent Director. That was my other role. The Superintendent Director. Currently, we are advertising for an Assistant Superintendent Principal. And we hope to have one, hopefully within about a 6-week time frame. We have with us tonight, if you just step forward, we have Mrs. Lynn Griffin, who is our Director of Guidance. We have Mrs. Debbie Pacheco, who is our Director of Special Education. We have Mrs. Maria Torres, who is our Assistant Principal of Technical Affairs. We have with us Dr. Katie Warren, who is our Assistant Principal of Academic Affairs. And we have with us Mr. Michael Zajac, who is our Assistant Principal of Student Affairs. A little different titles than probably what you're used to, but we all have different roles here at Diman. getting into is about shops. So I'm going to back off just a little bit right here. I'm going to bring forward Mrs. Maria Torres, who is the Assistant Principal of Technical Affairs. That word technical affairs, translated, the shops are her domain. That's the technical part of Diman Regional Vocational Technical High School. Mrs. Torres?
So, our Director of Grounds is going to take this piece.
Ms. Griffin?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lynn Griffin. I'm the Director of Guidance and Admissions, and we also run Exploratory out of the Guidance Office. When your student was accepted here, they selected 3 shops that they wanted to explore for sure. So all of the students are in 12 shops. We offer 18 altogether. So our exploratory runs generally 3 days. There are some half days that, unfortunately, some of the shops will run for about 2.5 days because of holidays or early releases. So all of the students are exploring 12 out of 18 of the shops, with 3 of those being the top 3 picks. From there, what's going to happen in December, a Google form is going to be sent to the primary contact in Aspen via email. On that Google form, your student and you will be making selections of top 6 shops. Let me back up a second. So while your student is exploring these shops, they are earning points every day. There's a rubric. You guys have the rubric in front of you. So it goes off of points. So the students will be organized on a spreadsheet with points, highest points to lowest points, and then that is how the shops will be assigned. Myself and the administrative assistants will be working on that over Christmas break, and at the beginning of January, it will be released via Aspen, the final shop selections. This is a sample of the schedule that was provided to you in the freshman packet. This is the list view. So on this, it has your student's schedule. It's a little bit tricky to understand. The top of it has the academic classes, and then if you look over to the right where it says term, it lists 1 through 12. Those are the 12 shops that your student is exploring. Everybody should be able to see this in Aspen on both the parent account and the student account. This is the matrix view. This is a little bit easier for the students to understand for their scheduling. So on the right here is the shop portion of it. So this student is exploring medical assisting for the first 3 days of the rotation. It is listed 6 times. These were also stuck in your packets as well, but it is a 3-day exploratory. I'm now going to pass it over to our vocational director, Ms. Maria Torres, to go over the grading rubric and shop.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Maria Torres, and I am the Assistant Principal of Technical Affairs, which means that I oversee all of the 18 programs that are here at Diman. So we're going to start with the rubric that is used to grade the student. When you take a look at this, you're going to see that there is participation, interaction, and conduct, and then effort and safety. That makes up the first portion of their grade. After that, you'll see that there is a technical skill that is either broken down by a project or by an assessment. Every shop is different. Some shops have just a technical score, it would be counted as 50% of the grade, and other shops have a combination of both, because some programs are a little bit more academically based, not just technically based. So there is a combination of a technical skill as well as a assessment, a written assessment. So in the event that they're in a shop that has both of those, each one is worth 50% of, 25% of the score, equaling a total of 50 combined with the first 50. Now when you take a look at this, you'll see that the scores go from 1 to 7. 7 means that they have exceeded the expectation. If they meet the expectation that the teacher gives them, then they score a 5. If they go above and beyond, that is when they get a 7. Many times we will hear, well, my kid did everything right. Why did he get a 5? Because he met the expectation. Going above and beyond means several things. They look for extra work, they completed their assignments, they did assignments rapidly and correctly, and were able to take on more work. potentially even assisting getting done with their work, and then assisting a classmate. So going above and beyond. Think of it as going above and beyond. So that is the rubric that we use.
Before we go on, you've just heard two important parts of the first part of our presentation. One about the schedule and one about the scoring rubric. Big pause right there. See, does anyone have any questions about the schedule? Did you see the schedule? Are you able to figure it out? Can you get into Aspen? That's that computer program we use. And if you cannot get into Aspen, don't feel upset. Because some people say, I don't know. Thank goodness I have with me also here, as a member of the administration, our director of IT, Mr. Eric Benoit. I'll point him out, because if you do have questions on the technical side, I just can't get into it. He can probably give you one or two little tricks to help you get right into it. And on the other is on the scoring rubric itself. This is Tara setting grade, so I'm not going to repeat it. But on the scoring rubric, if your son or daughter comes home and they say what they show you, right? Give a call and you find out what happened. Yeah, was there something that happened? Okay. I think of all the things that happen to students, it's like they get into the shop, I don't like this shop. Yeah. All right. 12 shops, 12 grades, all play into the final placement. So, if in fact they're in a shop where they're like, I hate the shop, okay, well you're not going to live it. You're going to be in there for 3 days. You're trying out a skill set. So, give it your best. As I told the freshmen today, or the juniors today, suck it up. Okay. Move on. Go through the 3 days, okay, and try your best. But if you come out with the attitude of, oh, I hate this shop, that's not going to help. The goal is to get to the shop you want. You've got to go through 12 of them to get there.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Show of hands, how many individuals here are alumni? Very good. So you may find that some of what you're going to hear tonight has not changed since you were here. And the reason it hasn't changed is because it works. It works, and as we told the freshmen today, our students become employed, not because necessarily of what they know, but because of where they're coming from. We have employers that will tell us, Diamond student, I want them. So our name precedes us. Students learn a skill here that whether or not they go into their chosen trade, some kids don't, some kids do. If we did a survey here for the alumni, how many are still in their trade? Some may be, some may not be. But the skills that you learn here evolve completely and totally around employability. And so the next couple of slides I'm going to go over with you have to do with the uniform and what the expectation is. Everything that we do, we stress to the students that this is about employability. Being able to follow directions, being able to do what your teacher tells you. You may not like it, you may not understand it. We're too strict. I don't like these rules. We are very structured. Our students are here for a variety of reasons. You may have sent them here because you're an alumni and everybody in our family is going to Diamond and you're going to go to Diamond. That's it. You may have sent your child here, they may have chosen to come here because they know the future that they want to trade. Whatever the reason is that they're here, the rules apply to everybody. And some students do find that this is just not their cup of tea. And they move on to other avenues. But while they are here, there are expectations, and one of them starts with the shop safety. I will never apologize for trying to keep your child safe. As I tell all the students with long hair, I don't care that you're going to have an elastic mark in your hair because your hair is up in an elastic and restrained all day long so that it doesn't drop forward into the machines and get caught. It has to be secured. So when you look at what the guidelines are, all freshmen received freshman t-shirts for free, and then you can buy additional ones on the website. They are located on our website under school store. Go to Freshman Exploratory, and you'll see it there. Those shirts have to be tucked in. They work in shops that have fast-moving machinery, so shirts have to be tucked in. They have to wear belts, they have to have blue jeans, and they have to have steel toe or composite toe boots, work boots, to wear in the shop. We give you samples of pictures so that you know what is acceptable. And we also have a black sweatshirt. Sometimes kids are cold and they would like to wear a sweatshirt in shop. They can wear the sweatshirt, but some of the students in some of the shops, for instance, advanced manufacturing, they cannot have anything loose on their arms because when they reach over, the machines are spinning very fast, you can get caught on their sleeves and cause severe injury. So they may not be able to wear some of them in shop, but they can wear like a black, like one of those Under Armour shirts underneath their short sleeve shirts if they are cold. But we also do have a black sweatshirt. Any questions on this? Safety glasses. I'm going to talk about how this uniform plays into their exploratory score. I explained to the students, you know what the expectation is. Part of your score is employability, being able to follow rules. If a teacher has to always tell you, tie your hair up. Why is your hair down? Well, I had it on, I went to lunch. Okay. You walk back into the shop, your hair is supposed to be up. Where are your glasses? Put your glasses on your head. Where's your glasses? Go get your glasses. If you have to constantly be reminded, those are all things that will affect their scores. So they need to make sure that they're adhering to them every day. They cannot pick and choose when they're going to put their hair up or when they're going to wear their safety glasses. Safety glasses have to be on at all times, wherever they're working. When we take a look at the hair restraint, if the hair sits on the shoulder and they lean forward and it drops into the workspace, potentially getting caught on a machine, it has to be tied back. If they have very long hair and it's tied back, that ponytail can fall forward, it needs to be up. We already talked about the belt, we already talked about the pants. They cannot wear open-toe shoes, they cannot wear clogs, they cannot wear anything other than the blue jeans. When they are assigned their shop, there are other criteria that are involved depending on the shop, what they get into. And what does that mean? That means that culinary, dental assisting, health assisting, and medical assisting cannot wear nose rings, they cannot wear, dental cannot have tongue piercings because they work in each other's mouths, those can become dislodged and swallow it. Culinary, we have food service that's guided by public health. So there are certain criteria in additional shops. Nails, acrylic nails, long nails interfere with the work. So depending which shop they're in, that could be an additional guideline for them. Any questions on that? I can't stress enough how important the safety in the shop will affect their scores as they move forward through exploratory. They must adhere to them. They cannot pick and choose what they want to follow and what they cannot follow. So it's very important that now and when they're placed in their final placement, that they're following those guidelines very, very, very closely. Thank you.
So, I'm back to give you an overview of the daily schedule. Diman is one of those schools, much like we work on a timed schedule. You can start dropping off, whoever you're dropping off, here in Diman by 7 o'clock in the morning. We're fine. Breakfast is served every day for free. And they can come into the building, go to the cafeteria. But when do they have to start moving? If you've been inside this building, and I know you haven't, but if you've ever been in, a most remarkable feature is how the kids socialize. They start that at about 7:15, where they start walking around the hallways. You would think that there's some kind of a march going on, because they literally, well, for those of you who remember the malls, did you ever go mall walking? Friday night, right? Cruising the mall hallways. We've got it here. 2 floors of it. So the students come in, and they start at one end of the building, they walk with their friends down to the other end of the building, chin right around and come back to that one. When they get tired of doing that, they go to the 2nd floor. So we've got 2 floors going on until they start hearing the bells. Now, everything I've just said is totally acceptable of them walking because they're socializing, and they should. Of course, getting ready for the day. But the bells start ringing, as you see, at 7:30. And it's in 5-minute increments. So there's 7:30, 7:35, 7:40, and then 7:43. That's what I call, like in football, that's the 2-minute warning. Because we got 2 minutes before the start of the day. Notice up on the side of it, it says door 41 closed. Almost everybody tonight came in by door 41. It's on the side of this auditorium, in between the auditorium and the gym. Right? That is one of the main drives where you can drop your son or daughter off, they come in that door, and they're in the building. Okay? But that door closes at 41. It forces you now to come to the front of our building, where it has the diamond regional side, above the main glass doors. Okay? Starting at that point now, school begins at 7:45. Don't get told that they want to wait for homeroom. We don't have homerooms. Pause on that one. We have a first period attendance. If they are to be in academics, they need to be in their classroom at the 7:45 bell. Not walking through, but after, inside the room. That's where attendance is taken. If they are in shop, they need to be in the shop, in their place. Sounds very restrictive, but inside every shop, there are 4 divisions. Right inside what you're receiving. They have to be in their spot. Some of them, they tell you, they have a box on the floor and they make a stand in that. Yep. Because that's why the teacher can do a visual and see everybody's here today. 12 boxes, 12 bodies, we're good to go. And they take attendance. But 7:45 stops our day. And then we start proceeding into the day as it goes on. 6 periods. Dr. Warren's going to explain the academics in just a few moments. Our lunches. We have 4 lunches, and if your son or daughter has been at lunch 4 or 5, they're probably coming home saying, like, it's so crowded. They're right. Okay? But we are working on balancing out the lunches so that everybody can have a seat, have a lunch, and eat it in a reasonable amount of time. And I like schools, because schools is the only place where you can have lunch at like a 12:02. Not noon, not 5 past, but like 12:02. But they all have 22 minutes to eat lunch. Doesn't sound like much, but when you see a group of high school teenagers sitting down, eating lunch, 22 minutes is an eternity. Because all they want to do is socialize once again. And then we have the end of the day. The passing time between periods is 3 minutes in academics. Can they get from one end of the building to the other in 3 minutes? Absolutely, yes. Yes. They can, they can. They can get there. Trust me, they can get there. They may tell you, I don't have enough time. Yeah, well, don't stop and talk 5 times. Keep walking. Get to class. Academic causes, Dr. Warren, if you would, please.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Katie Warren, and I am the assistant principal on the academic side. So I'm sure that you have seen the matrix that you saw a little bit earlier that had the vocational side on one side and the academic side on another. So we're going to look at just the academic schedule shortly so you'll be able to see what that looks like again. But to just point out some of the classes that are required on the academic side, what you'll see is everybody's going to take an English class. These courses are required in order for promotion each year. Some of them are required through Mass Core. Many of them are required for moving forward and for graduation. English is one of those courses. So your son, daughter, your child will need to pass English. Please make sure that happens. Please work with your child in doing so. Math is going to be another one of those courses. You will see, however, there are courses tied to those English and math courses called Effective Strategies for Communication and Extensions. Those courses are tied to the English and math courses. They are not support classes. They are additional classes to help with the curriculum. The English class is going to, the Effective Strategies, is going to work on written communication skills. So they're going to do a lot of heavy focus on literature in the English class, and the Effective Strategies class, they're going to focus a lot on writing. So it's connected, still working with the English standards, but it's just a little bit different. history, you'll see U.S. History 1 on the schedule. That's going to be important moving forward. In history, students are going to be working on the civics project as required by the state. That's going to be actually a ton of fun for the kids to participate in. They'll have a little bit of choice in staying in that this year, so you'll look forward to that throughout the year, about midway through. And then they'll be working on science. Students are either in biology or physics. They won't be taking the MCAS this year, and a lot of schools focus on a science MCAS in the 9th grade. We actually wait till 10th, so they've got 2 years to prep for that, which is a good thing. Be a little bit crazy for them next year, but we'll get them there. And then they take, for their facility general elective sort of classes, for career readiness, they take health, and they take phys ed. And they will take phys ed every single year. And so it ends up looking like this. And we have what's called, what we call a waterfall schedule, because it rotates for them each day. So whatever they had first period today, they'll have second period the next day, and move on, so on and so forth. 6-day rotation, because we have 6 periods. And that way, it ends up whatever is first today, a few days later ends up being 6 periods. And it rotates all the way through for them. So you'll see that on your child's schedule when you check that out. It'll be in academic as well. In addition to the academic classes, they're also going to need to pass SHOP, for the vocational program, and they're related. When you look at the academic schedule, you're going to end up seeing in the future, related on the academic side. You won't see that right now, but we will talk about that as you guys move forward. So this slide's here for information, but that's probably something for us to talk about a little bit more in the future. We look at graduation requirements and things of that nature. We'll definitely dive into that a little bit deeper in the next year or two. Right. Any questions on any of the things here? I know there's a lot of information. Really the important thing to do right now is when those kiddos come in, have them focus on their academic work. They're going to get homework in all their core classes. Make sure they're doing it. Their shop times, they're going to have work to do while they're in their vocational programs. Make sure they're doing them. Not the Sunday before they come back, but like the Friday and Saturday when they're first assigned. And as long as they're doing work that they're supposed to be doing, they're going to be okay. Any questions so far? All right, then I'm going to answer some.
I want to back up something that Dr. Warren just said. She made a comment, or said, a phrase, called shop time. Shop time. You're going to become very familiar with another term, shop time Sunday. What happens is when the students are in academics, as they leave on Friday, their teachers give them an assignment in the core subjects, and that assignment will be due upon their return to academics. So it reinforces what they learned over the 2 weeks. It's something that's not difficult, but it becomes part of the overall homework type of grade, class grade. So young people being young people, and some people I've noticed who are teenagers like to procrastinate. What they do is they realize on Sunday, before they go back to academics, they realize, OMG, I have 4 assignments to do for tomorrow morning. Thus the term, shop time Sunday. Because they realize it's critical mass, and they owe it to their teacher. And if they don't pass it in, it is a failing grade for the assignments. So one of the things as parents to be on the lookout for is that when they come home on that Friday of academics, and you say, how'd it go? Fine. Do you have any work? No. You can surprise them by saying, do you have any shop time assignments? And they will look at you like, how did you know about that? Okay? But have them do it, not that day, but make sure that they do it and not stress out on a Sunday at 7 and 8 o'clock at night that they have 4 assignments that are due on Monday morning. Be aware of that. It's called shop time Sunday. Ms. Griffin, please.
All of our students here that are freshmen are assigned guidance counselors. Our guidance office houses 5 guidance counselors and 2 school adjustment counselors. Every student in the building is assigned to a school guidance counselor, and it is alphabetical by last name. It was included in your packet. There's a grid in there, and it has all of the counselors listed with their email addresses and then the last names that they're assigned. I like to think of the guidance office as the hub of the school. Students who need answers to questions just kind of pop in. Some of the services that we offer are career planning for the future. We assist with college applications, any social emotional needs that your students might be having in school. We're also able to help with those as well. Currently, right now, we're working on scheduling, and moving forward, we will help with that as well. As far as extra help days, all of the teachers have different extra help days after school. So the students need to be checking in with the teachers as far as which days they're going to be able to stay with them.
And the Extends program is an after-school program with bus transportation. So if anyone is staying out with your son, your daughter, whoever needs extra help, they can stay with the teacher on this Extends day. And it's twice a week. And Mr. Pacheco, I'll look to you for help on Extends. Is it Tuesday, Thursdays?
Tuesday, Thursday.
It's on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have an arrangement with a bus company that they will bring them home after they stay for whatever reason. They'd like it to be academic help if they need it. The only requirement we say is that they need to sign up for the bus by noontime on the day that they're staying. Why? We need to get a handle on how many students are staying and where they are, so they get on the right bus and they get home to the right house. So that's called the Extends program. More information on that will be coming out shortly, but be on the lookout for that too.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. This is the handout that's been provided to you in the packet. This is the list of alphabetically by last name and then school guidance counselor that your child has been assigned to. These assignments are only for 9th grade students. Grades 10, 11, and 12 are assigned to school guidance counselors by vocational area.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Michael Sajak. I'm the Assistant Principal of Student Affairs, a.k.a. Discipline. You've probably seen my name all summer about bus registrations, right? And I've probably spoken to many of you. Okay? Diman has a rich history. I've only been here just over 3 years. It's a pleasure being here. Believe it or not, I survived middle school for 24 years. I was a teacher, administrator, and principal. And it took me 24 years to finally graduate to high school. So, I understand where your children are coming from. I understand the transition. We met with them and talked about the expectation. Diman has 4 pillars that we enforce to all of our decisions, our actions, okay? The biggest one, the biggest one for me has always been respect. Treat others with respect and dignity. Treat others as you want to be treated. The way I'm speaking to you right now, not as loud, is the way I speak to your children. It's out of respect, okay? We want them to be safe. Mrs. Torres brought that up. Safety. The machines that they use here are absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. What your children will do is remarkable. The machines that we use in some of these shops, industry doesn't even have it at the level that we have. We have to be safe. You know, we have students in culinary, they're upset because they got piercings or they have nails. It's the food service business. Come on, you want to go to a restaurant and find a fingernail in your food? I'm being honest with you. So we have to abide by high expectations for safety, hygiene, attendance. To need as adults. Okay? So they have to be here. Being prepared. Being ready to learn. Coming in and saying, okay, I know what I have to take care of. Those are the 4 pillars that we enforce, that we reference to in our decisions. And I think one is responsibility. I have kids at home. I'll ask them, who put the dishes in the sink? Who didn't load them up? I didn't. Will they come up with an excuse? Oh, only a bowl is mine. This is this one. This is this one, right? You get all these excuses for everything. And what do you do with parents? You blow your cork, and then you finally say, put the dishes in there, they mess it up, and then you say, forget it, I'll do it. Does that sound familiar? Okay. They've got to be responsible for their choices and their actions, as painful as it can be. I have children at home, my own children. My son gets a speeding ticket, comes home, he's upset. Dad, what am I going to do? Slow down. Okay? He calls me this morning. He tells me last night. Actually, last night he goes, Dad, I got to go to court tomorrow. I said, why? I didn't pay the ticket. I said, why didn't you pay it? He goes, I waited till the last minute. Can you come with me? No. You go talk to the judge. Okay? He ended up paying $30 more. Okay. Responsibility for their own actions. 2 years ago, 2022-23, 15.4% of our students were chronically absent. They missed 18 or more days, excused, unexcused. Massachusetts average, high school student, 25.6% missed 18 or more school days. If you missed 10% of work, would you still have a job? If you missed 10% of school, what's your learning going to be? A student who was chronically absent had a GPA of 2.5, 2.6. A student who was not chronically absent had a 3.3 or 3.4. Difference between a C and a B, right? We have to get our students here to learn. Please refer to the student handbook, it has many more details to it, okay? Absent policy, unexcused absences. A student is given 6 unexcused absences per semester. 6. That's it. They're given 9 per year. If a student accumulates a 7th unexcused absence, they have what's called credit recovery. They have to come here a Saturday morning from 8 to 12 with their Chromebooks and do work. I come and visit. They're not happy. Tardy policy. A student is permitted 3 unexcused tardies per semester. 3. If they're running late, we give them 3. If you have a doctor's appointment, other excuses, those are excused, and we'll talk about that. So it's 3 per semester, and it resets. First, numbers 4, 5, and 6 is detention. Which is the same thing as credit recoveries. Things are going to happen. Family emergencies, a funeral, you have to go to court for something, religious observance, school-sponsored activities. If you go to like a sport activity or a DECA or you're missing school, those are all excused. We understand that. We get sick. I have children at home. I know that. We do require a doctor's note after 5. When you return to school, we expect a doctor's note within 5 days of their return. Here's the reason why. We don't want notes we don't want notes all the way in March, so an absence in October or November. They can email them to us, they can fax them to us. We make it very convenient. Okay? Family vacations are not considered excused absences. Okay? Cell phones. Have you heard this yet? Rule of thumb. If we don't see it, we don't hear it, we don't have an issue. Student is
Going back a slide to the tardiness policy. Public transportation issues, I didn't see it listed. Where is public transportation issues if the bus is late?
That's different. That's on us.
Okay.
That's on us.
It wasn't listed, I just wanted.
Yeah, there's always administrative discretion. So, for example, I have students who are missing buses because they came too late or came too early. I gotta say, those are excused. I cannot hold someone accountable for something that's our fault.
I just wanted to clarify because it wasn't on the slide.
Yeah, I thank you for that question. Good question. Okay? Cell phones. Put them away. Put them in your backpack. Lock them up. Turn them off. No earbuds. Okay? We don't want to see it when you enter the building to time to leave. It's wonderful to see students socializing at lunch. I keep saying to my kids, they're going to have arthritis. Their heads are over this and their fingers are going 400 miles an hour. Am I right? It's wonderful. We had NEASC here last year that came in, and the gentleman who ran NEASC, the principal of a high school in Massachusetts, and the first person he said is, how did you do it? He cannot get a school of 500 to follow the rule. We have 1,480. Okay? Store them, put them away. How many kids go to the bathroom and have their cell phone out? We check the bathrooms, and it's like, what are you doing? I'm checking the time. I'm not kidding you. I had one young lady, unfortunately, lose her cell phone today. I said, what are you doing? Talking to your agent, playing the stock market? What are you doing? And I do talk like that with them. And they laugh, they know. And they're like, yeah, I know, I messed up, and everything else. So. You got a question on this, sir?
So, I have a question. So, I want to message to the current one. And no answer.
He didn't answer?
No answer. So I asked him, so why didn't you answer? He was like, no, the phone policy is serious. So how they followed it, but very much still, no.
Thank you for the compliment, we'll take that. But I have to be, it's funny, this is like a big thing about the entire United States right now. And I found it so funny while watching the news this morning about 5 o'clock out of Providence this morning. And one of their headlines is blah, 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 blah. All regular schools pauses on their cell phone policies. That caught my attention. And the Colorado school system, in particular Jersey High School, was featured. They were talking about those bags that lock and unlock. And they put that on pause. They paused it effective today because it wasn't the locking of the, according to the news article, it wasn't the locking up of the phones that was the problem. It was the end of the day unlocking them. Because kids were very upset that they're going to miss their ride, they're going to be late for their practice or whatever activity they have, and they're going to say, okay, let's think about this one. I've seen those bags. Ours is so simple. I'm not going to repeat what Mrs. Zajac said, but I can tell you that when a student at Diman does get called out, as the kids would talk, for a cell phone, that normally what happens is, we know it's in their back pocket, but they take it out and they start going like this, and all of a sudden they look up and you can see the eyes go. That 99% of the time, the instructor, the teacher, whoever's out there, just goes up to the student and goes, yeah, and they go, mine. But what happens to that, Mr. Zajac?
So,
you pick from there.
thank you. First offense, Saturday school, parental notification, student can pick it up at the end of the day. Second offense, Saturday school, parental notification, the parent or guardian has to come in and pick it up. It's very consistent. Very consistent. We are across the board. Earbuds too. I'm out on the bus every morning and I'm like this. IDs, earbuds. I'm not kidding you. Put the phone away. I'm telling them before they even walk in the building, please do this. My line to your children is this. Please do not force me to do my job. You see the difference there? We warn them, we give them heads up, but it's just, I do tell them, please do not argue with my staff. If they ask you for your cell phone, just hand it over, we'll deal with it. But if you start arguing with them, now it's like negotiations. Okay, I don't know, I'm too old, but I'm not Bob Barker, I don't negotiate. Okay, give me the cell phone, we'll get it back.
Let me give something that happens though, is that many times parents call their son or daughter, and the phone goes off. And of course, when the phone is in their pocket, they're going to pull one of these, like that. They get caught. If you need to call your son, your daughter, whoever you're picking up, something has changed in your schedule, and you need to get a message to the school, call the school, call the administration office, 1130, 1160, okay, they're in the handbook. Just call and say, this is Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. I need to get a message to my son, daughter, someone that I'm not going to be there to pick them up. Grandma's going to be there to pick them up. You've got to walk home. Okay? Just whatever the message is, we will get them out of class and we will tell them what the message is. We'd rather be the messenger so we know it got to them rather than something happened or they look at their phone and they run that risk. The one about the clock is very true. I remember doing that. I was in the gym one time, and there were a couple of girls that were in there. I said, what do you do? I said, we're checking the time. And all I did was I went, and he went, what? I went, call the clock. You know what? They don't know how to tell time on that.
Please realize this. Consistency is key. Consistency is key here. For example, if a student brings on the cell phone and they say to me, well, I was just checking the time, here's my comment for them. But no, you have 30 other kids that are watching you. They're not watching you, they're watching you because they jack and how I'm going to respond. It's true. Because if I let that go, if I don't call them out on that, I've given every student the right to do the same thing. So it's that consistency piece. Dress code, very quickly. No bare midriffs. I have seen more young ladies and gentlemen pulling their shirts down. They're like this all day. Some won't even lift their arms up. I have a daughter and a son at home. I understand the challenges. No bare midriffs. Okay? Ripped jeans, no ripped jeans. Okay? Crocs, no sport mode. I had to learn that. Sport mode, when the heels on the front, we tell them to put their heels back on them. Key is safety. We don't want them to fall down. Okay? On the stairs, things trip. Okay? No hats, caps, flip-flops. I'm telling you, these students are wonderful. They know the expectation. We don't deal with the hats and the hoods. They know to keep them off. And it is for safety, if we're going to say that. Other than that, finger length. You know, put your arms down, and as long as they're finger length. I know that's a challenge. But you have to have something that's measurable. It can't be subjective. Okay? Dress code, a big thing is IDs. Every student has to have an ID, current ID. Your kids are okay, but we have seniors who are trying to pass off their fresh convictions. These are key. If you have an emergency, they're going to ask for IDs. It's for safety. You don't get in the building and know the routine. If you get their ID, don't worry about it, go get a sticker. Next morning, all they got to do is show one of us their ID, they're fine, no consequence. It's about safety. 99% of the kids are great. They really are. And if they need to buy a replacement, it is $3. The ID is $2. If they just need that, or it's the protector for it. We found that this is very helpful because they break. Before they used to break all the time, and the kids would drop them. This has helped a lot with us. Okay.
So I'm going to do two, officer, go ahead, yes.
My son didn't do the initial presentation, he did it on the 26th, but he has no picture. That's something.
So good question. So what we're doing with the new students that came on who didn't come to the pictures, we're printing up a white label for them with their name and ID on it, and so they can have the bus stickers on the back. So if a student does not have one, all they got to do is come to the office, no charge. No charge.
Just like this, right? We have a young man here in the front, right here, showing you this. Yeah, we're going to get Maury's studio back also, because there's a number of faculty members who may have missed the picture, all they want to have is airbrush. Easy. And so they're coming back, yes.
My son has plastic.
Yes.
He just doesn't have his initial. He was one of the first to hold it up.
So you have to replace the white one, not a picture.
Without a picture, but he was not late.
Okay, so this is a, you know, I worked with, I have two secretaries, Panero and Mrs. Murray, they can call and find out, now we can get a picture made.
So, just before we open it up to questions and we make ourselves available for anything that you want to talk to us about, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we have this little construction project going on right next to us in that direction. It is going to be the new diamond, and it is coming along very well. The projected opening date of the new diamond, the projected one, not the guaranteed one, it's like a snowstorm. The projected one is going to be September of 26. So that's 2 years from now. What does that mean? That means your son, your daughter, who's with you here tonight or is home, and I'm sure they're doing their homework, is that they will be in that new building. It is coming along very well. As you go by the building, or you see the crane over the top of the building, you can see the steel skeleton or the steel structures starting to take place. Questions? Yes?
So you mentioned the students get 6 unexcused absences per semester. What happens if they are out during the shop season, as far as losing points, or making up points, or maybe of the day?
During exploratory?
Yes.
So any student that is absent during the exploratory cycle, and they should do this as a common practice, but exploratory is on the front burner right now. They should contact their teacher. They should tell their teacher that they are absent, whatever the day is that they're absent. If they know in advance, if it's that morning, that day, they can email them that day and say, you know, my name is so-and-so, I was supposed to be exploring your shop today, but I am not in school. I would like to come in to make up the work. Now, please keep in mind that 1 hour a week is a lot different than a 6-hour day. If they're hour or 3 hours, 2 days, or 12 hours. But they have the opportunity to make up some of those points, staying with the teacher. What they should not be doing is they should not be absent, let's say, tomorrow, and then in October say, well, I was absent back in September, and I need to make up that work. If we're talking 6 or 12 hours, they may not be enough time for them to stay at 1 day a week and 1 hour a week to make up that work. So as soon as they know that they're not coming in, they should notify the teacher, they should let the teacher know, and then they should make arrangements to stay after school with that teacher.
Questions? I said to the freshmen, and I'll say this to you, for those of you who attended Diamond, and you survived, and you're successful, you know, the freshmen started their career journey with Diamond. I did tell them this when they came in on day 1, that whatever happens at the middle school, whatever took place, I don't care anymore, because that's behind you. You are cutting your own way now. We don't know who you are. So, they are in such a great place. All that drama, middle school drama, not that there is any, yes there is, all that middle school drama is gone. They are now in a more adult world. They're not adults, but in a more adult world, and they get treated differently. That's why we stress respect and responsibility. Those are adult traits. So this is their opportunity to build their future how they want. And we, of course, are here to help them and to engage with you. And I call it that. When you call and you ask a question, I know it's on your mind. I usually have an expression that when you call up and you want to talk about something that's been on your mind all night long, and you now want to get the answer, call, email, whatever it is. And if it's an academic question, it should go to the appropriate administrator. If it's just a life question about coursework, counseling, go to the appropriate administrator. And if they come home with a story, I can't encourage this enough. Mom, you should have seen what happened at school today. Some kid was there, his arm got ripped off, and then the next thing, it's like, whoa, stop. I'm going to tell you, something disastrous happens, you're going to get a call. Some of you may have received my call about tonight. Hopefully you got that. It usually starts off with, good evening, this is Mr. Bentley. Okay, that's me. I will do that. I will also send emails. Okay? But to try to keep you informed as to what, we see your son and daughter probably more in a day than you do. Right? We see them for 6.5, 7 hours, even longer sometimes if they're involved in activities. We see them more than you. You want to find out what's going on? It's a partnership all the way around. Questions for anybody, from anybody rather though? Yes, down the back.
Is there a way to track their homework?
Is there a way to
Note their homework?
track their homework? The closest that I can give you, actually, if you would take, please. There is a way.
So there are a few things that are going to happen. All of their teachers have Google Classroom. So you will receive from every academic teacher a syllabus. And if your child is in an academic class, you can ask them right now when they're next to you or when you go home tonight, can I see the syllabi for your course? If you're on the vocational side and they go into academics, ask to see the syllabi because they have all received them. And that'll tell face-to-face learning, having some great in-person conversations, and so we're not relying exclusively on Google Classroom. So you won't see that just as a past day. And they have access to Google Classroom now. But do you have apps there? That's a great question. I will absolutely look into it. If you want to send me an email sometime this week, I can follow up with you. Absolutely. Other questions about academics?
When will they be able to take languages?
Languages, we offer languages generally starting in the junior year. We try and focus on getting the kids ready for that MCAS exam as much as possible because that is a graduation requirement in the state of Massachusetts and those happen in sophomore year. After that, our electives tend to open up and we have options in Portuguese and Spanish. Okay, good question.
Question over there too. Yes?
I need someone who can help me get into Aspen.
Hold on. I do not know you and you are not a plant, right? About two seconds before Dr. Warren went up, I went up to our IT director and I said, I'm going to ask a question of who does not know how to get into Aspen? I said, but you're going to answer it. I can give an answer. He can give the right answer.
Okay.
So how many people can I get into Aspen right now? All right, a fair number of you. Eric? Okay, if you didn't hear that, you have to say it one more time.
Please email helpdesk@diamondregional.org and we'll get you set up.
Helpdesk, all one word, helpdesk@diamondregional.org, and Mr. Benoit and his staff will respond and get you that information. They'll email it to you.
If you're already set up in Aspen, how long does it take for your child to get approved for, like, as a parent, as your student, how long does it take for your student to show up?
I have to double check the tracking, no problem. I'll get back to you.
Question over here.
How long will it take for me to get back? Because I just sent an email to that email address a week ago and I haven't heard anything.
I didn't hear the question completely.
She said that she emailed that.
Really? Okay. Put that in the check box. Yes?
I believe they're connected, but again, please email helpdesk and we'll get it taken care of.
Any other questions? We are going to break ourselves up in front here. If you have any individual questions,